Hello everyone, today is 12th of June, Russia Day. So my congratulations to all the fellow citizens with this celebration and to all the guests of the Russia, of course. Now it's 20 to 9 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is first part of today's update in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second part will be published on my Patreon page. And if you are interested in more news from Russia, more commentary, or maybe in some non-political content, and simultaneously if you like this channel and want to support my work, please consider to subscribe to my Patreon page, become a sponsor of this project. Link is under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. That's been said, before I start, dear friends, let me note, otherwise I will forget about it, that today, this evening, 9 o'clock, I will have a live stream on my YouTube channel, so I hope you will find time to join the conversation. It's gonna be mainly community chat, and also simultaneously I will share some additional news during that live stream. So today evening, 9 o'clock Moscow time, live stream on my main YouTube channel. Okay, that's been said, let's talk about news now, and I will start with this report from RIA Novosti. Let me read it in Russian first. So, ВС России освободили Артемовку в ЛНР и Тимковку в Харьковской области, which means that Russian armed forces liberated Artyomovka settlement in LPR, which is Lugansk People's Republic, of course, and Timkovka in the Kharkov region. And let me show you on the map these areas, by the way. So this is Kupyansk direction. This is LPR. And this is Artyomovka settlement. And by the way, when it comes to Timkovka, this is Timkovka, by the way. This is all Kupyansk direction. That's how I see these directions. And when it comes to Timkovka, it's not really seems like settlement to me. If we zoom in, I cannot even see a single building in this area. So maybe it was a village sometime in the past, and this area still has that name, Timkovka. But whatever the case, entire this area now is under Russian control. Maybe not a crucial change on the line of contact, but still progress on part of Russian armed forces. Artyomovka is a small settlement, as you could see on the map. Anyways, let's continue. And RIA Novosti's report that силы ПВО отразили ракетную атаку на Sevastopol, which means that air defense systems repelled missile attack on Sevastopol. This was reported by governor of the Sevastopol, Mikhail Razvozhaev. He wrote about it in his Telegram channel, although Razvozhaev did not specify what kind of missiles were launched towards Crimea by Kyiv regime, how many of those missiles. All he said that missile attack was repelled and all the aerial targets were destroyed. No casualties reported and no damage on the ground. Also, by the way, I want to share with you this news from RT. So, Russian drone knocked out a US-supplied Abrams tanker. Yes, yet another documented case of destruction of Abrams tanker. As you can see on this video, it's clearly, easily recognizable silhouette of the M1A1 Abrams, US-made tanker. And, well, yes, initially there was a hit by FPV drone in the rear of this tank. It caught fire. There was clearly some damage. This is the episode when this tank was hit from the rear. And the second FPV drone of Russian armed forces flying to finish off, I guess, this tank. But maybe because tank was not strike second time, maybe when I was watching this video, I was thinking maybe Russian forces, Russian soldiers made decision to evacuate this tank without totally destroying it. And if that's the case, then I would not be surprised at all if in upcoming days we will see video of evacuation of that damaged Abrams. If there was no secondary strikes on that tank, then I guess it will not take too long before Russian side will repair it. So it will be, I guess, demonstrated somewhere eventually somewhere in museum, military museum. Anyways, let's continue. Взгляд newspapers report that стоявший на аэродроме в Днепропетровской области Су-25 уничтожили ланцетом, which means that Ukrainian Su-25 attack plane was destroyed by Russian Lancer drone on the airfield in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Yesterday I shared on my Telegram video of that strike. As you can see, this is an airfield in the Dnipropetrovsk region in Kryvyi Rog area, I believe. Clearly identifiable silhouette of the Su-25 attack planes, and then Russian Lancer drone strike, and another Su-25 of the Kiev regime is destroyed. Plane caught fire, so it's definitely finished, undoubtedly, as you can see here. So according to some reports, by the way, Kiev regime only has like 2 Su-25 attack planes left. Not easy, hard to confirm this information or denied. It's definitely not easy to know exact number of the Kiev regime's air force at this point, how many planes they still are operating with. But well, at least they have one less Su-25, that's for sure. And if we take a look at the map, by the way, this is the area where this attack took place in Kryvyi Rog direction. This is the airfield, and if we zoom out a little bit, closest Russian positions are about well, I will say 100 kilometers away at least. So if my calculations are correct, then these Lancer drones did undergo some significant modernization, I will say, to become a long-range weapon, because this is clearly quite a long range from Zaporozhye region, where closest Russian positions are, to Kryvyi Rog. Interesting video for sure. These Lancer drones, after a special military operation will finish, this Lancer drones gonna be in extremely high demand worldwide. I'm quite sure about it. But anyways, let's continue. RT is reporting that Russia could consider changing its nuclear doctrine. Very significant development here. So Russia could potentially make changes to its nuclear doctrine should the escalatory actions by the US and its allies push it into doing so. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov has warned, speaking to reporters on the sidelines of BRICS ministerial meeting in Nizhny Novgorod. Nizhny Novgorod is a Russian city, of course. Ryabkov admitted the international situation has been getting increasingly complicated, and changes to his country's nuclear posture could not be ruled out. The challenges that are growing thanks to the unacceptable and escalatory actions of the US and its NATO allies undoubtedly prompt a full-fledged question of how the basic documents in nuclear deterrence can be brought more into line with their current needs, Ryabkov said. So this is a big deal, by the way. Of course, this is a big deal. Some military experts, some public figures here in Russia already are arguing that US and its allies already crossed the red line, and Russian doctrine already gives all the rights to Russian president to authorize the use of nuclear weapons, especially after Kiev regime, formerly Kiev regime, in reality US, of course, conducted strikes on Russia's early warning system, radars of over-the-horizon detection, which are part of course, Russian nuclear deterrence. I reported about these attacks on Russian over-the-horizon detection radars in the past updates, like 10 days ago about. And yes, many military experts here are arguing that this strike definitely crosses red line, and because Russian doctrine says Russia can use nuclear weapons if Russia's statehood is under existential threat, and if Russia's strategic deterrence system is targeted, strategic infrastructure is targeted, then well, these attacks on over-the-horizon detection radars clearly can be seen as an attack on Russia's strategic infrastructure. But well, Russian president clearly does it, tries as much as he can to avoid this next level of escalation, even though he's been criticized here in Russia internally for his immensely cautious approach to topic of nuclear weapons and to the topic of escalation from Russian side, next level of escalation from Russian side. And by the way, if you are speaking emotionally, yes, you may say that let's try here and there and let's use nuclear weapons. But if you are analyzing situation with full seriousness, and emotions definitely are not helpful in that case, then you will realize that possibly it's because of the cautious and patient approach of Russian leadership we still are here on this planet, all of us worldwide. So even though I can understand this criticism of fellow citizens that Russia is too cautious and some stronger steps need to be taken, I can understand they are coming from and they are coming from emotions. Of course, they are angry. I can understand that, but president of Russian Federation, nuclear superpower, cannot make decision based on emotions. Although, as Russian deputy of the foreign minister, Sergei Ryabkov noted in his statements, Russia may consider some changes in its nuclear doctrine, because, of course, no matter how much Russian leadership wants to avoid next level of escalation with the collective West or Western ruling class, if this constant escalation against Russia will not stop at some point, well, only so much Moscow can tolerate, isn't it? So this is a big deal, I believe. This news that, and also a warning, another warning, one may say. Although, of course, Western ruling class not gonna listen to it, I have no doubts about it. But anyways, let's continue. RIA Novosti's report here that Odessa, which is still controlled by Zelensky's regime for now, may be left out without emergency medical services. And the reason is that Kiev regime is mobilizing now drivers and medics also. First of all, drivers, and the drivers are leaving their jobs. Drivers are leaving their jobs and trying to hide from forceful mobilization. And this is not, I mean, we have some factual confirmation of that, by the way. Yesterday I shared several videos on my Telegram channel. Many of you probably see it. This is Odessa, and ambulance was called into the enlistment office. And when this ambulance arrived, these representatives of the Kiev regime tried to mobilize staff of that ambulance, the medical staff and driver of that ambulance. Then fight erupted between these enlistment officers and the medics. As you can see here, some crazy stuff is going on. And it is quite understandable that after this kind of stuff, not just drivers, but also medics will probably start leaving their jobs. Because I don't think they are dreaming about dying somewhere in the trenches in line of contact. So yes, this is an issue now, and I guess not just Odessa, but many other cities that still controlled for now by Kiev regime may end up without medical services, proper medical services. And also, by the way, also it's not just medical infrastructure, but all the other infrastructure, all of it, energy infrastructure, transport infrastructure, logistics, every engineering stuff, maintenance infrastructure, everything is crumbling in Ukraine due to this forceful mobilization. And if you remember, a couple of months ago, I reported about statements of Nazarov, former Prime Minister of Ukraine, who said that Kiev regime already mobilized, most of the people that could be mobilized without starting taking personnel from strategic areas. And if Kiev regime will continue with mobilization, then eventually they will start taking people from strategic areas, which will further intensify crumbling of that infrastructure. And we are clearly seeing now this is happening. Medical services, logistics, as I said, maintenance stuff, everything is an issue in Ukraine. Just recently, like a couple of weeks ago, Mayor of Kiev, Klitschko, was complaining that he cannot find at least 50% of the staff that he needs to conduct proper maintenance of the infrastructure of the Kiev. Because people are mobilized forcefully. So if that is happening in the Kiev, capital of the so-called Ukraine, then can you imagine what is going on in other towns? Anyways, let's continue. TASS News Agency's report here, which said in Russian that количество участников конференции по Украине в Швейцарии снизилось до 78, which means that number of countries that are willing to participate into this so-called Ukraine Peace Conference in Switzerland have reduced to 78. Yesterday I reported, by the way, about statements of President of Switzerland, and that person, female, was saying that some 90 countries agree to participate in the conference. Today, after 24 hours, it's 78. And I guess before 15th of June, this number will further reduce up to 15, maybe 60, and that's it. And I remind you, dear friends, that from this 50 or 60, 45 countries are collective West. I should always keep in mind that collective West also is the dozens of countries. And from rest of the world, only like 10, 15, maximum 20 countries might send some delegations, some second and third tier delegations. And that's all. And well, as I said many times before, by the way, this so-called conference in Switzerland, it's gonna be total failure, disaster, because it's a clown show. It's a clown show, and it was a clown show from very beginning, because how are you gonna conduct peace talks if you are not inviting one of the sides? If you really want to deal with the issue, then invite both sides. and let's have exchange of positions there, and maybe we will manage to find some compromises. But if you're only inviting one side, then this is not a peace conference really. You are just gathering your allies to further demonize Russia, to conduct further steps against Russia. That's all. That's how world sees this conference, and that's why, by the way, BRICS member states and countries that are maintaining with Russia good working relationships, they don't sending their top their leaders into this conference. Majority of the friendly to Russia countries are not sending no one, totally ignoring that conference, and few countries that are sending delegations, including India, unfortunately, by the way. It's quite disappointing, really, I have to say, that India is sending delegations. Second or third tier diplomats, yes, but still, why, Blin? I don't know. But anyways, explanation that I hear from India is that India has its own initiatives when it comes to peace talks, and India wants these initiatives to be presented during that conference. That's a reason why India is sending delegation. But yet again, no Prime Minister of India, no Foreign Minister of India will participate. Well, as I said, man, it's gonna be like another clown show that Western ruling class will conduct. And in response to that clown show, Foreign Minister of China, M1A1 stated that Beijing is calling for a real peace conference on Ukraine, where both sides will be presented, and real conversation, real talks, real negotiations will take place. This is a response of China, by the way, on this Swiss conference. And of course, Zelensky and his criminal associates, their Western masters, gonna ignore Chinese calls, but still, this is a position of the global South, I will say, because and the entire world out, with the exception of the collective West, because that's this call definitely makes sense. If you want to conduct a conference, peace conference, let's do it, but let's do it seriously and invite both sides and have a real talk. Anyways, let's continue. TASS News Agency is reporting that G7 countries are planning to announce about new steps against Russia in a summit, G7 summit, that will take place in Italy these days, by the way. Okay, they will, according to John Kirby, by the way, official representative of White House, during that summit, some announcement will be made about Russian frozen assets and profits from those assets. These guys cannot help themselves, man. They want to steal these assets. They want to steal it, and they will, one way or another. And it's just more they continue this show around these frozen assets, more they talk about it, more ruined the Western reputation is becoming, and reputation of the Western financial and the banking system. That's all. Also, by the way, TASS News Agency's report. I spoke about this news yesterday in the second part of the update on my Patreon, and I want to share today in the first part also, because I believe this is important news. And unfortunately, on Patreon, our community is really tiny. So, well, information is that in Russian it says, this is Lavrov, BRICS активно работает над платформой для расчетов в нацвалютах, which says that BRICS is actively working on the platform to create platform for payments in national currencies, which is a great news, by the way, which is great news. And hopefully this platform will be created as soon as possible, and not just BRICS member states will have opportunity to conduct business as usual without being dependent on Western payment systems, Western financial and banking system, but also, by the way, countries that are not yet members of the BRICS, I mean countries worldwide and businesses from worldwide, I mean from entire world, can use this platform to do business with the companies of the BRICS member states. So this is a big deal. And if you remember, I was saying almost on daily basis that I hope BRICS will soon come up with some concrete steps to create this alternative financial and banking system, which is extremely necessary in this world, because Western financial and banking system have been weaponized by Western ruling class. And well, this is quite a significant step, I will say, statement from Lavrov. And well, let's hope this autumn, when BRICS leaders will gather in Kazan, capital of Tatarstan Autonomous Republic of the Russian Federation, let's hope we will hear during that summit some about creation of the platforms that will help businesses from worldwide to cooperate without being dependent on the Western financial and the banking system. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I will end the first part of today's update on this news that, according to РИА Новости, Всемирный банк повысил прогноз роста российской экономики, which means that World Bank makes some changes in its own forecast and increase its forecast on Russian GDP growth for 2024. Previously, World Bank was expecting that Russian GDP in 2024 will increase up to 1.3% in 2024 and about 0.9% in 2025. But now World Bank has changed its forecast, and they think Russian GDP will grow in 2024 2.9% and 1.4% in 2025. And this is, by the way, quite conservative estimates, isn't it? Quite conservative estimates. Well, Russian side is also has estimations about 2.8, 3% of growth of GDP in 2024, but I'm a little optimistic in this regard. I think Russian economy this year will grow at least 3.4, 3.5, maybe up to 4 percentage point, and next year not gonna be any worse than this year. So let's see. But it is interesting that World Bank, which is no way pro-Russian organization, by the way, it's controlled, absolutely, totally controlled by Western ruling class. World Bank is forced to acknowledge success of Russian economy, and they have to make some changes in their own forecasts when it comes to Russian GDP. Okay, by the way, relatively short update. Hopefully you will find it interesting and informative, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything, any topic. This is the only way we can deal with the algorithm, dear friends, to reach wider audience, more likes and comments. Just about anything, by the way. Any comment will help. And for very same reason, to deal with the algorithm, if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends in real life, or on the platforms that you are actively using. And finally, before I go, let me know that well, if you find this small media project of mine with several channels on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram interesting and useful, if you think these channels deserve to exist, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Boosty, or by subscribing to my Patreon, on which, by the way, I have a regular extra content, not just about news and politics, but also about life in Russia. And I have some plans to make a Patreon page even more interesting. So yes, and as I said, by the way, our community on Patreon is tiny, and if 30 to 50 before end of this summer, if 30, or in best case of scenario 50 people will join our community on Patreon, that will definitely help me to take out this media project from zone of survivability, when I guessing months after months after months, will this project survive next month, will I be able to continue, and so on, because Patreon allows me to have a understanding about funds that I'm working with, while when it comes to donations, I'm grateful for all the support of members of our community that are donating to this project from I mean, either with PayPal, Boosty, or before through Buy Me Coffee, but unfortunately now I cannot have Buy Me Coffee, they blocked me. I'm grateful to all the support, by the way, but you can never know will you have donation or no. Like yesterday I had no donation, day before yesterday no donation. I don't know about today, so you cannot rely on donations, while Patreon gives you understanding of, because it's a monthly subscription, Patreon does gives you understanding of funds that you are operating with. So yes, I mean, it's immensely important, by the way. 30 to 50 more subscribers on Patreon, and this channel will cross that barrier when survivability of the project is no longer a question. So yes, I mean, if you can, subscribe. Link is under this video, by the way, and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day. And dear friends, today evening 9 o'clock, live stream on the main YouTube channel. Please join the conversation. Have a great day and take care.